Hey Andy,
Hi, Jill.
how's things?
Yeah, they're all right. They're all right, thanks. Trying to be as normal as possible.
Yeah,
But yeah,
what's going
okay,
on?
back in work and back in the gym. My father passed away about 3 weeks ago, and it completely came out of the blue. He was kind of diagnosed at the start of the week. The next week, he was admitted to hospital, and then within a couple of weeks, he passed on. Um, he'd never been ill before. Um, so it was all a massive shock. He's only sort of 69, not long retired. Kind of had a good few years ahead of him, a fit bloke, a manual worker. Um, so yeah, he kind of passed. And I suppose where I'm at now is I'm kind of a bit concerned about how well I've taken it. It was something that consciously, like we all do, we kind of worry about our parents getting older and stuff like that, and worry about what could happen. Um, but I feel that now it has happened. Um, I'm kind of almost comfortable with it. Obviously, I'm gutted. I'm heartbroken. But when people are sort of asking me where I've been or what's going on or how I'm doing, etc., and I tell them, I feel like I'm kind of very sort of open, honest, but I'm just a bit concerned that I'm a little bit too okay with the situation.
Yeah, I get that. I get that completely. And you know what? We all grieve in very, very different ways. There is definitely not one formula for all of us, right? So that's the first thing. And I know you know this, but it's just really, it's really strange that when we lose someone, we think there's like a way that we should be. And the way you're being at the minute is the way your brain and your body wants it to be. Maybe you're in a bit of shock, maybe you're not. Like you say, maybe you thought about this, maybe you're prepared, and maybe you are genuinely okay. Or maybe in a few months' time, it's going to hit you in a slightly different way, and you're going to start to go into a different feeling and a different way about it, maybe into a deeper sadness. But you know what, Andy? You might not as well. You might just be the type of person who thinks that my dad, that man who I loved, who gave me so many great years, has died, unfortunately, too soon. But it's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And life goes on. And that doesn't mean to say you're a bad person or an unfeeling person or a person who isn't sad enough in quotation marks. That just means that is just your way that you've reacted to it. But one thing I can guarantee is that you will probably feel differently about it for the rest of your life. Like, it's really strange. Like, time moves with losses. So, how old are you, Andy?
36.
Do you have children?
No.
Right. So you may not have children like in the future, but let's say you do. That would be an example of when I think grief and loss can come to visit us in quite a profound way again. So the birth of your first child and your dad isn't there to see that, and that could really hit you hard. Or like big events in your life, marriages or new jobs, or there might be something that happens to you in your life and you go to ring your dad and you can't ring your dad and suddenly it hits you. It's just so personal to you how you react. But I feel like you're down on yourself, and I feel like you're saying that you feel it might be like feeling like am I a bit weird, am I a bit weird for being okay with this? And I don't think you are at all. I don't think you are at all. I think you're just taking it as you're taking it. Your brain and your body is absorbing it. And like I say, there might just be different moments for you where you take on that news in a very different way. My stepdad died last year, and he was in his 80s, and he had been ill for, a good few years, so it wasn't completely unexpected. And when he died, I was really sad, but it wasn't one of those shocking kind of take your breath away sad. It was just more like the expected has now happened. And much like you, I kind of got on with things, and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, oh, this is kind of strange. I don't feel like I've had that moment yet. And then I was looking at some cards in the new year, and I think I was looking to send a card to my friend, just like a how are you card. And I came across a Father's Day card that I'd bought last year. I must have liked it and thought, oh, I'll send that next year. And I just had that moment then of like, oh, I'll never send that. I'll never send like a Father's Day card again. And that really hit me in that moment. And then, I was all right after that as well. But I suppose what I'm saying is it's just, there's no rule book, There's no rule book at all. And you really shouldn't. If anybody was to ever suggest, like, you don't seem as sad as I thought you would be, or you're taking it well, just don't listen to the noise. Do not listen to the noise. You're taking it in the way that you want to take it. And I'll assure you that it will also change in time as life goes on, and it moves all of the time, and it changes shape, and there are no right and wrongs.
Mm.
What is your feeling right now? Like when I'm speaking, when I've just finished talking to you there, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think I'm concerned that, like you said, I'm kind of expecting it to hit me at some point, but I don't feel like I'm kind of in the bubble anymore where I'm expecting him to come home and stuff. I had a sort of, you'll kind of know about this sort of stuff, but people say sometimes there are signs, whether that's sort of being a dream that you have, or an animal or a coincidence or something like that. So I had a dream the other day that I kind of met him, and in the dream it was very much like, oh, you're here. So I give him a hug and everything, and then he sort of said, I'm not really here. So it was only on when I sort of woke up in the morning, I was a little bit. It was kind of the disbelief, if you know what I mean, that he wasn't actually sort of coming back. So there are little signs like that, but in terms of how I'm feeling, we've got the funeral on this Thursday. Obviously, that's going to be a bit of a tough day. But like I say, in terms of everything at the moment, I'm very much a person that's kind of acknowledged it. I'm quite accepting. Did some work a few years ago on acceptance and stuff like that. So maybe that's sort of paying dividends now. But I'm kind of aware that there'll be good days and bad days in the future, I think. So
And that's
that's
it.
kind of where I am.
And you haven't even got to the funeral yet. I mean, I think the sort of acceptance piece around grief, I think is really, time wise, it just happens differently for everyone. But if you haven't, even had the funeral yet, then it might be quite a lot for your brain to take in. And actually, your dream seems quite profound in the sense that maybe there's a feeling for you that he is still here and that he hasn't gone. My mum said that when my dad died in those first couple of weeks, like leading up to the funeral, she just thought he was upstairs a lot of the time and in the bedroom, or, down the club, or it was like it just hadn't hit home. And it is when somebody is here 1 minute and they're not here the next minute, that's an insane concept and idea for our brains to take in. And it may just be that, it's less about acceptance, and you're just literally processing the fact that, your dad really went quite quickly and unexpectedly, and it's taken your brain a while to catch up even with that idea. But just keep talking. Make sure you've got people around you who you feel really comfortable with and who you trust, and just keep talking about it like you're talking to me, though, like even about feeling weird about not feeling a certain way or feeling a different way. Just keep the communication going, and whatever you do, don't go into your own little bubble and stop speaking to people. But I'm really
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
I'm
definitely.
really sorry for your loss, and um just know that there's like so many of us out there that completely understand what that feels like, and that you don't have to be alone in it. There are lots of us around. But I'm really sorry.